Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Today we're going to be creating a crypto payment system. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to show you guys a brief overview of how this payment system works. For instance, you have a website, you need a payment system, you don't want to be paying fees on payment platforms like Coinbase, e-commerce, etc. You want to create your own payment system. Let me show you how this works, okay guys? Alright guys, so let's take a look at how this payment system works, okay? Now, first thing we've got here is amount to pay in US dollars, right? So for instance, I come over here and I put 100 US dollars, right? And I go to my mode of payments. I can either choose USDT or I can choose BnB. Now I'm going to choose USDT. You can see here $100, right? If you choose BnB, right? The code is going to check the value of 100 US dollars in BnB live. So this is exactly this BnB right now. So whatever amount you put in US dollars is going to convert it to BnB. So if you want to make your BnB payment, it will be able to track the current price equivalent to that $100 for you at that time. So now we're going to validate in US dollars. So when we click in validate in US dollars, let's just refresh this. Okay, so we're going to say 100 US dollars. We're going to say USDT. Now, mind you, let's just dismiss this. Mind you, we're using the BSC network. Okay, so we're going to go over to um my account here. So over here we can see that it says send exactly 100 USDT to this token, to this wallet address, right guys? So when you make that transfer to the wallet address of 100 USDT, all you need to do is get the transaction hash and put in the transaction hash over here. Okay, so if you go over here, and this is my wallet right now, the same wallet that I was asked to pay to. You see I did a transfer of 5 US dollars, right? So I'm going to copy the transaction hash, right? And I'm going to go back and I'm going to place it. You can see it's loading. And what does it say? It says the amount sent is incorrect because the amount is actually incorrect. It is 5 USDT that was sent with this transaction hash, not $100. Okay. So what do we have to do to get this to approve? We need to make sure it is 5 USDT we put here. So we're going to put 5 USDT, mode of payment, USDT. I'm going to paste the transaction hash. Let's see what it says. And it's saying transaction is valid because it's exactly 5 USDT that I sent. Let us try putting 4 USDT. Let's try it again. You can see the amount set is incorrect. Let's try 6 USDT. Incorrect. Let's try 4.9. Incorrect. So this is incredible, right? Now let's try it with the BnB rather than USDT. Okay. So here we're going to say 3 $3. Okay. Mode of payment BnB, right? So it's saying we should send exactly 0.005 BnB here. Okay. So here in my wallet, I do have a transaction where I did exactly 0.005 BnB. I'm going to put 3 and make the mode of payment BnB, right? So it says send exactly 0.005 BnB. So I'm going to come over here. I have 0.005 BnB over here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to paste this and say I have made the payment, and you can see transaction is valid. Now, what if I go and take the transaction hash from another wallet that was sent, a payment that was sent to another wallet? Let's try doing that and see what happens. Okay, so right here I have a wallet address here, and it has loads of transactions in US dollars. Okay, so I think this is, yes, this is US dollars. Okay, so we have these 200 US dollars. I'm going to copy the transaction hash. I'm going to come over here, we're going to reload this, and then we're going to say 200 US dollars, right? USDT. Now this is the address it's telling us to send to, so we're going to put this transaction hash here, and it's saying transaction made to the wrong address. So this payment system can recognize transactions made to a payment address, whether it's USDT or BnB. And it can also check the time, though I didn't put time validation here. If you want me to do that, let me know so I can make a quick video for you guys, or say something in the comments and I can give you guys the code to make time validation work. That's transactions that are below, that have happened 2 hours Only transactions that have happened 2 hours earlier, within that time frame of 2 hours earlier and now, will be allowed to pass through the payment gateway. Okay, we can also add that kind of validation. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and I'm going to show you all from scratch. I'm going to be using the Moralis API. Now, how to get started? I've made a crypto payment starting code. Let me just show you guys here. You need to come over here and clone this. Make sure you start the repository, guys. Please start the repository and follow me on GitHub. And when you go, the link for this will be in the description below, and also the final code. The final code will also be here in the description. Let's just go to my repositories and we'll see the final code, which is this. You can see simple payment validation for BSC network. Okay, so you guys can get this. The link is also in my description. Please make sure you like and subscribe, guys. It really helps this channel grow. I want us to hit 2K subscribers before the end of this year, guys. Before the end of this year. All right, so let's get started to make this work. You can download the final code, you can download the starter code, and then follow me as we're going through, so you can properly understand how we're making this work. Okay, so let's get there. Let's clear this. We don't need this anymore. YouTube, no. Okay, let's just leave this final one. Okay, so we have the starting code over here. I've put this already, but we're going to start creating the logic. Okay, so over here, I need you to go to source, components, pages, payment index. Okay, so now payment index now, we can see the first things first. We have the amount to pay in dollars, right? So when the person puts the dollars, which is 100, and they click the mode of payment, it's now supposed to show them this. It's supposed to show them this. Okay, so we also need to work on that. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to say handle currency change. When the user changes the currency, we're now supposed to display the, either it's in BnB or it's US dollars for them. Okay, so let's start working on that. The first thing we're going to do here, you see we have some feedback states and we have some transaction states. Okay, we have the currency, we have the amount, we have the wallet, we have the transaction hash. Okay, then in the feedback states we have the loading, the error, and success. Very important. Okay, so over here now, the first thing we're going to say anytime this currency change is happening, whatever error we've experienced in the past, I want to set the error as null. Okay, then after we do this, we're now going to say, we're now going to say constant currency value equals to e.target.value. Okay, now we're now going to say if currency value is equals to null. Do you know why we're saying null? Because over here we have value null here for if the user clicks this mode of payment, it means it's not clicking anything. Here we have value USDT here, then we have BnB here. Okay, so if the currency of value is null, if the user selects the null, or the amount is empty. Now the amount is set over here in this input, right? We're saying on change, we need to set the amount as the new amount. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. So if the currency value is null and the amount, there's nothing in the amount, we're just going to say set wallet as nothing, and then we're going to say set amount as 0, just in case. Okay, so we're going to return. All right, so now we're going to say if currency value is equal to USDT, right? We're going to say set the wallet. Let me just copy the wallet address we're going to be using. Set the wallet to be this. Okay, then if the currency value is equal to BnB, all right, we're going to say set the wallet address to be the same thing. Okay, but now we need to convert the currency, right? We need to convert the currency with this function here, fetch token amount. Now to convert the currency, we're going to say constant currency equals to await fetch token amount. And in fetch token amount, to collect two things. To collect the amount the user has selected here. So if the user puts $200, right, we need the amount of the $100, and then we need the um currency we want to move it to. For instance, if it's USDT, we want you to move it to BnB. Okay, so we're going to say amount and BnB. All right, so once we've done that, we're going to set the amount. No, let's not set the amount. Let's just say console log the currency. Okay, all right. So this is not supposed to be this is supposed to be amount, but because we've already named amount variable here, we can't use amount. So we're just going to say converted amount, right? Converted amount. Okay, perfect. Now hand the fetch token amount. So here we're getting the USDT in the amount in number, and then we're also getting the token that we want to convert it to. Okay, so let's work on that. All right. So now we're going to go try catch error, and if we catch any error, we're just going to return fallback values in case of error. Okay, so here we're just going to return. That means if we can't get anything, we're just going to return 0. Okay, so here we're going to create a fetch to use Moralis API to get the current value of BnB in dollars. Okay, so we're going to come over to our app, convert price, and our route. So here we're going to import next response from next server. Then we're going to import Moralis. Okay, then we're going to import our initialization, but let's just cancel that for now. Get to that. Okay, so here now we're going to say export async function post request. So here we're going to say constant USD amount and then the token. I'm going to await request.json. Okay, and here we're going to console.log USD amount and the token, just to make sure we are getting everything. Okay, all right, so let's go back to our index, and over here we're going to say constant we're going to fetch API convert price. Okay, is this the correct spelling? Price. All right, perfect. So now we're converting price. We're now going to say our method post. Then we're going to say headers. Okay, over here we're going to say body. I'm going to say JSON dot stringify. Here's the amount and the token. Okay, perfect. So we're just going to call this now. Then we're going to be checking our console to see what we get. So when we come over here, we want to refresh this. We say 100 and we say BnB. All right, perfect. So over here now, we're going to get error because we're not returning anything. So we can see our 100 and our BnB. So we know we do get a response from the API. Okay, So now we know here is working, so we can just delete this and start working with those values. Okay. Okay, so now that we get this, we're going to say if USD amount is empty or token is empty, just to make sure we check that. Going to return next response dot JSON 400 error true message invalid request. All right, so now we're going to say try catch error console.log error. Okay, then we're going to return next this. Okay, we're going to say status 400. Sorry, we're going to say 500 this time. Then we're going to say error true, and we're going to say amount 0. Okay, perfect. So now here, after our try proc, we have to initialize Moralis. Okay, so to initialize Moralis, we need to do it in probably another file. So we're going to create another file for that to initialize Moralis. Okay, so in our lib folder, validations index. All right, so we have the code here to initialize Moralis. Now this is the part where I want you to create a .env.local file and get your Moralis API key. So we're going to go and get Moralis API key together. So we're just going to go to Moralis. All right, so once you've logged into Moralis, you can see me here. On your dashboard, you have your API key. Okay, so your API key is here. All you have to do is copy it. All right. Once you've copied your API key, that's literally all you have to do. And then you come over when you've created your .env.local file in the root directory of your project. Then you can now put your Moralis API key and your API key here. Okay, so I'm going to exit this. Then we have this function which I've already created here. It will work perfectly. You don't need to edit it or anything. So just leave this here. All right, so back in our route, we have to initialize Moralis here. So here we're going to say await initialize Moralis. Okay. Yeah, you're going to say constant amount await get token amount. Okay, so up here we're going to create a function to do this for us. Okay, so this function is simply just getting our USD amount and our token string, and then it is using that to okay. Okay, perfect. So right now we've initialized Moralis here again, so we do not need to initialize it here. Let's clear this. And we're simply just getting this token address. Here we're getting matching it with the BnB here. Okay. Once we do that, we're using that to wrap to get the price of BnB in dollars. Okay. and then we're using that to get the token price, and then we are using that to fetch the price in USD. Okay, so that's just what we're doing here, and we have a fallback. I do not recommend to use this. It was just in the project that I was using it for. I needed to get like a fallback basis, so don't use this though. Don't use this. Okay, so over here we're just going to say await get token amount for USD. We're going to USD amount token. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to say return. Okay, perfect. So we have this set up. We can go back to our index now. Okay, so over here we can now say if response dot okay true new error, and then we can say error response dot status text. Okay, so if we don't have any error, we're going to say constant data equals to await response JSON and return data dot amount. Okay, perfect. So over here now, scroll down. Over here now, we can get the amount, and then just refresh this. Come back here, inspect, because we console logged it, and then here we say 100 BnB. We do get Moralis initialized successfully, but we're not getting anything here. Okay, perfect. We see our value. We've gotten our value here. So we know that it's working perfectly. So now we can just come here and say set amount, converted amount, okay? And then set currency to currency value. Okay, perfect. All right, so once we've done that, we can now come down here and say if currency has been set. Let's see, and okay, so we're going to type some function here. Okay, so over here, let's just break this down. We're just saying send exactly the amount and then the currency here to the wallet that we've set, and the wallet we've set are over here. Very simple. And then we're just saying put in the transaction hash, and then on change we want to put the value and then trim it so that if there's any extra space it trims it, and then when the user is okay, he can select the button I have made my payment here, and the I have made my payment here, once it's selected, we'll kick off a loading, and the loading will create an animation pause that will make the button like blinking. Okay, so if we come here now, we'll refresh this. If we say $100 USDT, we have it here saying your valid transaction hash, you should be put in this box. I've confirmed that I made exactly 100 USD transfer to the wallet before they put the transaction hash, and then I have made the payment button. So right now, nothing, this button is not working because we haven't done the handle payment function. Okay, so let's get into the handle payment function. Okay, guys. All right, so the first one we're going to say set error to be null, set success to be null. Then we're going to say if there's nothing in currency, or there's nothing in wallet, or there's nothing in amount, or there's nothing in transaction hash, right? We say set error and tell the user all fields are required. Okay, so if the user comes here, clicks this button, nothing is happening. So why is not happening? We need to go to the button, and over the button, you see on click handle payments. The button should be working. So let's refresh this. Okay, we're clicking it and it's supposed to show the error. So we've not yet put the error, and we're going to put the error right now. So we're going to come down here. Just going to paste this. So if there's an error, you show the error. If there's a success, you show the success. So you can see we do have an error. That's why it's saying all fields are required. If I click the button again, it's still showing that. Let me refresh the site. Let's say I put an amount 100. I click it and say all fields are required. Let's say I put USDT. I click it. It's still saying all fields are required because it needs to be a transaction hash. What if I put 100 USDT transaction hash? Okay, it doesn't say anything because we've not added more code to it or validation to it. Okay, so let's continue. So right here, once this happens, and then we'll say return. Okay, so here we can say set loading to be true. Okay, then we go down and we create a try catch. And then we'll also add a finally to it, and then we say finally she will set loading false. All right, perfect. So now over here we're going to say constant URL equals to API validate currency. Now why are we saying currency? We're saying currency because currency can either be USDT. It's not supposed to be here. So currency can either be USDT or it can be BnB, right? So over here in our API routes, we have validate BnB, validate USDT. I'm going to start with the USDT first, okay? So over here, we've gotten the URL. If it's USDT, it's going to be validate USDT and take up this route here, okay? So we're going to create, say, so this is going to do our fetching, and then we're going to say constant because we expect an error and a message. Okay, await response dot json. Okay, perfect. So we're going to leave this like this, and we're going to just say console message, right? So let's start with USDT. Okay, let's go into USDT. Okay, so now on the USDT side, let's come over here. Okay, so when someone sends a transaction in USDT, right? USDT on the Binance chain has a contract address. Okay, so right now we're going to get the contract address of USDT. Over here, and so we're supposed to have, okay, perfect. So this transaction, let's just click on this transaction, right? And we can see, we should see something like this. Okay, perfect. This is the wallet address of the contract address of USDT, right? Token. And anytime you send USDT to a contract address, this is the contract that it interacts with. Okay, so let's click on this. So you can see every single USDT transaction is on this wallet address. Okay, so what we need to get that. So we have the USDT contract address here. So we're going to get Moralis from Moralis. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to start working. We're going to say export async function post, and we're going to say request. Okay. Then we're going to say constant transaction hash wallet amount currency. Then we're going to say await request dot json. Okay guys, then we're going to say if transaction hash or nothing in wallet, or there's nothing in amount, or there's nothing in currency, we're going to say return next response json. Okay, so what we're returning is status 400, and it was saying error true, and it was saying the message no message missing required parameters. Okay, so that's perfect. So after that, we're going to say try catch error. Okay, so what do we have in when we have an error? We're just going to console log it and return error true, and error called while validating the transaction. Okay, so after we've done that, we need to get transaction data, right? We're going to say before this try catch here, we're going to also do another try catch, and this is going to initialize Moralis. Okay, so we're going to initialize Moralis like we did earlier, to make sure we can start using Moralis here. All right. So if we're not able to initialize Moralis, we're going to return an error. So we're going to come down here. Once we've initialized Moralis, we're going to say get transaction data. Okay. So we're going to say constant transaction equals to await, and we're going to say Moralis dot evmp API transaction dot get transaction. Let's say chain 0x38 transaction hash. Okay, so now that we get this, we're going to say if there's nothing inside this transaction, just throw up an error, since there's nothing we can do. Then we're also going to get that transaction for me, and then we're going to say console.log trans. Okay, so that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to raise this up. Then we're going to copy. Okay, no, not from here. From here. Okay, so we're going to copy this. Right? Perfect. We're going to come to this is the final form. We don't want to work with final. We're working with what we are doing right now. So we're going to say $100 USDT transaction hash. I'm going to say pick payment. So you see the Moralis initialized successfully. So we should get something here. I don't think it's loading anymore. Okay, so it's as if we had an error. So here we're just going to console. Okay, we've got something back. It's saying error validating BSC as a transaction error. Timeout details, timeout exceeded. Yada. Okay, so we don't know why we get this error, but rather than look into, we want to see if our transaction here is being called. So we're just going to say console.log transaction hash. Okay, then we're going to come back, we're going to click it. So we do get transaction hash, so it is working. So what could be the problem? Okay, it's working right now. Probably network. My network is so bad here, guys. So bad. So let's take a look at this data. Now, this is the data we get from um the transaction hash, right? So how are we supposed to work this transaction hash? Now, in these logs, the first thing we're going to check is this. This is what's telling us this is a USDT transaction, right? And that's why we have this here. So we're going to check if this matches with this, which is yes. That means it is a USDT transaction, right? Then after that, we're going to also check who is receiving this payment. Now, the answer of who is receiving this payment is transaction logs. The person who is receiving this payment is in this topic 2. Now, this thing is currently in a hex form, so we're going to transform it to something that is going to match with the address, right? So that's what we're going to do. Okay, you will see is the address was just in, so you can see how here ends with 65F, right? I can see here it's ending with 65F. So we're going to transform this to a readable fashion. So we're going to check if the person that received this payment is the same wallet as we have address that we have over here. So after we check that, we're now going to check what was the value of what was this USD that was sent to the address. Okay, and we're going to get that through this data here. This data, we're going to convert this into a readable format for us to see. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we've gotten the trans, we're just going to say if there's nothing, for instance, over here we have receipt status. So over here we have receipt status as 1, right? If this receipt status is 0, it means this transaction did not go through. The transaction is not valid. So immediately we see that this receipt status is not equal to 1, then we know, yeah, that's not a good sign. This transaction is invalid. So over here we're going to say if there's nothing in this trans, or there's something in it but the transaction status is not equal to 1, there's no point in checking it. We're just going to return it as false. Okay, so after that we're also going to say verify the transaction is for USDT. That, like I said, we need to check that the transaction to address transaction to, okay, we can also use the transaction to trans dot to dot lowercase. Okay, so we can use this, or we can come here and say to address, okay, here, which will be the USDT wallet. Okay, so once we've checked that, we've verified that it's a USDT transaction. Okay, so now we're going to get the logs here. We're going to get the logs. All right, so when we get the logs, okay, topic 0. Okay, so we're going to get transaction logs here, and the transaction log is just basically this. Okay, guys, so if we don't have any transaction log, then we mean that the transfer was invalid, so we don't need to proceed any further, right? Then the next one is we're going to get the recipient address through this, and then I'm going to console log this so that you guys can see. So come here, and then we click this, and we're going to get an error, so let's scroll up. Okay, so this is the address, and you can see this address matches this one, right? Okay, so I'd like to show you guys if it's or not, if we like use a transaction hash that is not okay, like here now, let's take this transaction hash, okay, and come here. Now this transaction was to, can see it ends in B2, right, guys? So let's go back to this. So we're going to remove this transaction hash and put this one, then we're going to click yes. So when we click yes, we're supposed to get it to load. I think we have like a bit of network. Let's just wait a bit. Okay, let's just refresh this. That's 100 USDT. Moralis was initialized, so we should get a response. Okay, we're not getting a response. Okay, maybe I think maybe we're getting an error from somewhere here. Let's come back here and say console.log trans. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, see. Okay, we have many transaction logs. How do we get transaction logs? Find the one that has. Okay, so it's not finding this, but it's not supposed to be address. Okay, so this is another token. This is another token. These are not USDT tokens. Yeah, these are not USDT tokens, and that's why it's not continuing the this thing further. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back here. Since we're getting the error here, we're going to say set error message. So we're just going to do that. If we come back here, so you can see transaction is made to the wrong address. Okay, it's already checking that in our route. Okay, that's true. Oh, this is not the one we're supposed to be checking. We're supposed to be using this. No wonder. Transaction is not for BSC USDT. So like I said, it was not a USDT transaction. That's why this part was not showing. So let's just delete this and go back to verifying what we were verifying. Which is this. Okay, this. All right. So once we've done that, we need to check the recipients. Okay. Okay, perfect. Then after that, we need to check convert the value to hexadecimal. Okay, guys. So we need to convert that. I have a little function here that we're going to use to convert. Okay, so we're going to use this function to convert this long data, this data field here. We're going to convert it into the amount. Okay, so after we do that, also we're going to put like post dynamic here to not do any catching. Okay, so when we come to the bottom here, okay, so here we have the hex. We're converting the hexadecimal, then we're going to pass it, and then we're going to give a tolerance of 0.01 in case of any gas fees, and then we're going to check that, and if the amount is incorrect, it's going to give up a warning. So let's copy this and let's check. Let's see, amount 100 USDT hash. Amount set is incorrect. Let's change this here to 5. Transaction hash is valid. So it's showing error because we didn't set this well. So to do this, we're going to say if error, right? Then set this and then return. Let's set success to message and then return. Okay. Clear this. So this should now be better. All right, so we validated USDT successfully. Now we need to validate BnB. Okay, so let's go back to BnB. So we're going to get our Moralis and initialize Moralis, and we're going to get our next response and the Moralis. Okay, so we're also going to get our false dynamic transactions, and we're also going to start the whole thing with this, and then we're going to just console log this. Okay, so now we're going to refresh this. I'm going to say $3 BnB 0.05. I'm going to come here. I'm going to transactions 0.05. Copy that. Paste that here. I'm going to click. I'm going to check. So we do get what we want here. So exactly. Okay, so it is working. All right, perfect. So we're going to do the same thing like we did in the previous one. We're going to initialize Moralis. The same logic, the same way we did it. Okay, we're going to create a try catch. So we're going to say try catch error. Okay, perfect. And we're going to get the transaction details. Okay, just like the last time. Transaction, the same chain. If there's nothing in transaction, we're going to tell it to fail, and get transaction if we're successful or not. So get the one. So now I'm going to console log dot trans to show you something different than the USDT transaction. Then I'm just going to save to get rid of all those errors. I'm going to click on this. Hold on. Okay, so unlike the previous one, it doesn't have any logs, and the value in BnB is actually here. See the value here, right? So we can just use that. We get the gas price, we get the to address already set for us here. So it's not like we have to convert it like the other one. Okay, so let's work on this. Okay, now for BnB verify is a BnB transaction. To do that, we're going to check the trans.value, and then we're also going to check the trans.inputs, which is this. So this lets us know it's a BnB transaction right here. So we're going to check that. Then we're also going to verify the recipient address. We're going to use a function that is just going to help us lowercase. So just convert it to lowercase to check if the wallet that is receiving it is the wallet that we want to receive it, right? So after that, then we're going to verify the amount, and then we're going to send. Okay, so here we are converting from way, because over here the value is in way, right? So we're converting it from way to BnB, right? So here we're saying amount sent, we're converting it, then we're getting the expected amount that we want. We get make sure it's in number fashion, and then here we are putting like a small offset in case of like gas prices and the rest. We're using 0.982. Try and reduce it, check by 2 in case there's a deficit by 2%, in case there was hidden gas prices and the rest. Let's say you're supposed to send $100, as long as it's not below 99.8, then you're okay. Okay, so we have that set, and this should be perfect. Okay, so you can see here the transaction is valid. So that's how you can validate for crypto payments. Make sure you like and you subscribe. See my links in the video. Instagram, YouTube, X, Twitter. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.